Welcome to another edition of 12.5 Minutes. My name is Jared Kelly, and I'm with my friend and co host, Liz Whitehead.
Hi, Jared.
So good to see you again.
Always.
We have more to talk about on our special edition of Crazy, Scary, Genius, Hilarious. And this time, let's get high. I mean, we're gonna get high. Let's talk a little bit about space. Let's talk a
I
little
mean,
bit about space. And the reason is because apparently our government made headlines in stating basically that NASA is looking to mm, use about $20 billion to create a home on the moon. That's the summary version.
yeah. So this is the thing. We're going backwards. We've been to the moon. Like humans did that. We we did that already.
We sure did. And well,
Yeah.
and so not only did we do it, but going backwards is exactly the point for me is that, okay, so they're saying $20 billion over the next 7 years. We're going to make mm, this base near the lunar South Pole. Okay. I'm not sure why this is so important or so relevant, but what I do know is just last year, NASA basically said that they were going to be closing down one of its great facilities, the Goddard facility, that's in your neck of the woods in Maryland,
Hmm.
right? And they basically closed down 12 buildings, about 100 laboratories, and reduced their staff to about 42%, I think, reduction it was. 42% reduction in staff. And this is just for one set of facilities, right? But
Yeah.
but what they mentioned was that getting rid of Goddard removes the entire nation's capability to build, develop, and analyze data from space science satellites. So these aren't all the same. There's multiple aspects of what NASA does. But we were throwing out books. We were throwing out
Yeah.
materials, throwing out stuff like we don't need this expertise. We don't need this history in terms of going back, like you just said. We don't
Yeah.
need this history. But now, and we're doing this to save dollars. But yet, we're going to say, but we're going to allocate $20 billion to go back to the moon and not just as Jared Jared Isaacman, the NSA or NASA, not NSA, NASA administrator, basically said he's like, we're going to stay this time, and I don't get it.
So this is like, did you ever see the Incredibles movie, the animated Pixar movie? Like this is what the villain is doing in that movie, I think. Like, or it's one of them where he's like, I'm gonna get the moon.
Yeah, that's his goal. That was the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah, he's an evil villain, billionaire genius, which might come up again in this episode. But uh, it is, I mean, I can see the point, like people might say, oh, no, this is a good base to go to Mars. And we have been exploring Mars, which is really exciting, I think, just to see like what's going on up there. But like the idea that we're going to go there and stay and spend $20 billion on it is we still got stuff going on at home.
Right, 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 right.
Why would we bring our problems to the moon?
That's an incredible question right there. Why would we bring our problems, our human problems, our American human problems to the moon? But speaking of that, we brought our problems to the moon before. Just last year, there was supposed to be a quote 8-day mission, right, to the moon. And basically, we sent Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams up to our wonderful stations on the moon, I guess. And
And they weren't on the moon. They were
what
just in space.
they're just out there floating. So they're
Yeah.
just because they landed somewhere, right? They took this Boeing craft that broke down on them, and they end up there for 9 months, right? So This is scary. Like, what are we doing? We're not even great at this yet. And now we're talking about putting $20 billion into it to build homes. Like, we're not even good renters yet. What are we talking about? Land ownership? What are we doing here?
It is, I mean, and it's kind of scary, the idea that they were like, even the equipment that they were like, oh no, we've got it all figured out. That equipment didn't work. Like what we had. It's
Didn't
like,
work.
oh no, we've got to go to somebody else to go get it. Yeah, it's we're not good tenants of Earth. I don't know why we'd be expanding.
And the same administration that we're in right now actually doesn't believe in climate change, or they say that they don't believe in climate change, and we're starting wars. Like there's a lot of things going on in our atmosphere, and we as humans are the cause. And good old America seems to be contradicting itself in multiple ways, right? Like, but that's what we do. That is really what we do, and part of that is really, just an understanding that yes, we are interested in exploration. We're interested in knowledge. We're interested in structured investments. But this is just chaos outside of Earth. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's very scary that we keep using taxpayer dollars to
Yeah.
to to take these missions and execute these missions. I think you mentioned to me something about um, at least Suni was able to break a record. I thought that was interesting. So where was she walking, or at
Oh
what?
yeah. Well, I think it was a spacewalk. Like I don't think they landed. See, I'm not an evil billionaire genius, so I don't know all of the things. But when looking it up, because I was like, well, how did the astronauts feel about this, about having been stuck? And they actually were pretty pumped about it. They are astronauts, so they love space. At least this is what they're saying publicly. And Suni Williams broke the record for longest hours logged in a spacewalk. It's like 62 hours and 6 minutes. She had 9 spacewalks. I think the spacewalk is like when you're just attached to the shuttle
Forward?
and you just are out there.
Yeah,
Um,
you're
yeah,
floating, but you're not really walking. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, we're getting a lot of this stuff wrong because we're not scientists, but I mean that was something good that came of it. That was pretty good. But to get to the geniuses of it all, what I think too is a lot of this is the product of a very petty, soapy disagreement between the president or current president and Elon Musk, who were buddy buddy at the beginning, and Elon Musk's buddy Jared, not you, another guy, were like, he was like, hire my buddy for NASA. He's been to space, which is not true. We have to stop saying that these people going on private shuttles are going to space. It's a whole another topic. But he's like, he's been to space with me with SpaceX. He's a billionaire, like hire him. And Trump was like, yeah, okay, great. And then he and Elon Musk fell out, and Trump was like, nope, I'm not going to take him anymore. Because he gave money to Democrats, so we're not going to hire him anymore. And then Elon Musk and Trump buddied back up, and he got rehired. And to me, all of this drama, one, there's obviously money being exchanged. Like the grift is happening in front of our faces, and they are stealing our money.
absolutely. So
Um,
this Jared Isaacman is clearly he has money, and has proven it. Has a company that he was using to as a contractor of our government. So he was making money from the government beforehand. And when it comes down to it, he basically said out of his current position that they are seeking to encourage and hasten commercial development. And so when you start looking at $20 billion of funding, and you don't necessarily have contractors that can do it or are interested in doing it, but now you're suggesting that we need to do it fast, and we need to encourage or incentivize giving away money. And I just believe that that type of language suggests that fraud is coming and that individuals like him will somehow benefit from these dollars, whether it is giving contracts directly to their associates or doing contracts that ultimately benefit back to a certain figure at the top of our government.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so transparent. It's embarrassing for us to just be sitting here watching it. Um, but I think what's really important that we know is what does Kim Kardashian think about space?
Well, you said it earlier that we don't know much about space, and that kind of gives us a nice bridge to Kim, who basically on her own, excuse me, on her own show, um, decided that the topic warranted discussing 1969 and the trips to the moon, and believing in the conspiracy theory that Americans did not walk on the moon, and it was all just staged. Do we
I
have
mean,
to respond to her?
that's right. That's the thing. It's like, okay, somebody's talking crazy. That's happens every day. But NASA responded.
Apparently, they were offended.
Doesn't Buzz Aldrin punch people who say
I,
it was faked?
I, I would like to see it. I mean, I don't. It's one thing to say it, but then you start a Twitter or X war of words, where you're trying to prove a point. Why does our agency have to prove a point to Kim Kardashian? I'm not 100% sure. Or are they simply scared? It seems to me like you're almost scared of her power and her influence that if people start hearing this, that they'll start to believe it. But she's believing someone else's conspiracy theory. So she's
Yeah.
basically just now a vehicle for promoting something that it's 1969. At this point in time, we don't believe anything that's going on anyway. So everything is kind of suspicious. But one way or another, I'm pretty confident that we've been to the moon. And if we haven't been, it's been a great Hollywood storyline in terms of how they convinced us that they did it.
Yeah. The movie about it will be amazing.
It will be. It will be.
Uh,
And hopefully we'll have a movie star in there that sells books and hats and all kind of stuff. Anyway, that's it for us. 12.5 minutes, another edition. My name is Jared Kelly. This is Liz Whitehead. We are out of here. Bye.
bye.